What up, guys? CinemaCon is finally fully underway, and I am so excited about this week, especially after last night's Sony presentation, which I have a video covering all the announcements up on my channel right now. But Sony blew it so far out of the water. It was amazing. And now next up was Lionsgate, and I was kind of worried, especially since it's not as big of a studio, that they wouldn't really be able to match the hype that I got from Sony. And although it wasn't fully matched, Lionsgate did not disappoint whatsoever. They blew it out of the water, but mainly because their biggest announcement and the majority of their panel time was spent talking about one universe. And that universe is the John Wick universe. So they might have should have titled this panel the John Wick panel, the Baba Yaga panel. But with that being said, there is still a ton of other stuff to talk about, and there will be timestamps in the description to cover everything. But we're actually going to start with a more popular IP that they already have going on, and that is the Hunger Games IP, because they are making a brand new movie based on the most recent book, Sunrise in the Reaping. And this movie sounds super interesting. So I haven't actually read the book, but I have a friend who read the book just a couple of days ago, actually, and she said that this book is amazing and one of her favorites in the franchise. And this book is actually a sequel, but another prequel, just like the Ballad of the Somewhere and the Snake, but not connected to that. This actually follows the character of Haymitch, who Owen Wilson plays in the original Hunger Games movie, and his time in the games, which we find out he won whenever we're going through the first Hunger Games story or movie, however you want to look at it. And these games actually sounded like they were really interesting, but we've never got to see them. But in this book, you actually get to follow him in his time with the games, and it's supposed to be really, really cool and also kind of really, really gory as well, which kind of sounds surprising. But with that being said, I think this will actually work a little bit better because they are bringing back the original writer, Billy Ray, who wrote the first Hunger Games movie, and they're trying to bring back that original style and feel of that and not go for the Ballad of the Somewhere and the Snake, which I think that's better. I think that first movie is a lot better than the Ballad. I like the Ballad, but it just wasn't that good in my opinion. But with that being said, we actually don't know anything else about this movie because they have not even started filming. They're just in the very beginning stages of production. They're just now starting casting. We don't even know who's playing young Haymitch yet. So I'd love to know what you guys think about this, if you guys are excited for this movie and who you guys think should play young Haymitch. But with that being said, our next movie we got to talk about is actually another movie based off a Stephen King book, and that is The Long Walk. The Long Walk is supposed to be set in a dystopian future where the biggest thing about their life is when people get on a road and just have to walk. And that's the whole point. That's the biggest challenge in their lives. And it sounds kind of easy until you hear what happens. The whole point is to keep walking, because if you stop walking, you die. If you walk under 3 miles an hour, you die. And if you're not the last person walking, you die. So the whole point is just survival, walking as far as you can, kind of like Forrest Gump style, I guess. But with that being said, Mark Hamill is set to be the villain of this movie, and he's supposed to look super menacing and great. And then also David Johnson, who we most recently saw as the android and alien Romulus, is supposed to be the main protagonist, and he apparently is doing great in this movie. I'm excited for this movie just based off the cast and the fact that it's based off a Stephen King book. But I mean, the trailer kind of sounds boring, honestly. But everybody's raving about it actually, so maybe this is going to be a little bit more interesting than what it just sounds like. But we'll just have to wait and see. But after that, we actually have an update on the American Psycho remake that they've been working on for a while now. And basically all they said is, it's coming, but we still haven't got anywhere else on it. Because apparently they're still talking to actors about the lead roles, although we found out a while back that Austin Butler was actually supposed to be playing the Patrick Bateman character who Christian Bale played. But apparently that's not going to happen either, which I am kind of happy about actually, because I didn't love that casting choice. Kind of just seemed like an easy gimme. So I hope they kind of bring someone out of left field or someone more inspired. But that's all we have on that movie as well, because they didn't really have anything else to say about it. The next movie we have to talk about is actually a comedy that's coming out called The Good Fortune Teller that, based off what we've heard, sounds awesome. So it's supposed to be an R-rated comedy based in the same type of vein as Superbad, and it's set to star Keanu Reeves, and I can't pronounce this guy's name. I think it's Arzi or something. I'm just going to call him Oz from here on out. And then Seth Rogen. And the whole idea of this is Keanu Reeves is a guardian angel, and he's watching over Oz, who is a poor guy who is depressed that he's poor. And Keanu Reeves switches his life with Seth Rogen, who is a tech billionaire, to prove to Oz that being rich doesn't make you happy, but everything goes wrong because Oz doesn't want to switch back because he thinks his life is better being rich. So now Keanu Reeves has to finally make Oz switch, or he loses his wings. And I mean, this just sounds like the perfect makeup of a like super stupid and fun movie that I think we'll have a great time with, especially since it's like this like same vein as Superbad, where they're not trying to like make sure they don't offend you, and they're just trying to make you laugh. So that has me super excited, and that's why this is one of my most anticipated movies out of this presentation. But with that being said, our next movie is actually going to be starring Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas. The movie is called Power Ballad, and it follows Nick Jonas, who's supposed to be a washed-up boy band singer, who meets Paul Rudd, who's supposed to be a guy who never got his chance in the music industry, and Nick steals a song from him, and then it's just set to be a like legal drama that's like Paul trying to sue Nick over getting the song rights and all sorts of stuff. And it's supposed to be really serious. I mean, personally, I would have rather just seen Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas team up and do a boy band like comedy road trip type of thing. But I mean, I'll save my opinion until we see the trailer. But with that being said, that's all we really got on that movie as well. And next up, we have a movie based off a book that a lot of people have been waiting for, and that's called The House Maid, and it's starring Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney's character is actually supposed to be an ex-convict who's like lost everything and living out of her car, and has to take a job as an in-house housemaid to this rich, horrible family played by Brandon Sklenar and Amanda Seyfried, and it's supposed to have a lot of twists and turns, kind of get real dark. There's 3 books. I don't know if they're taking all of them or just one and going to try to do 3 movies. I don't really know. They didn't go too in depth with it, but that's all we really know about that movie. And then we got the announcement that they're making a new Now You See Me movie, Now You See Me 3, and they're calling it what everybody was asking for on the internet. They're calling it Now You See Me, Now You Don't. And if you guys don't know what the Now You See Me franchise is it's a heist movie with the magicians who do their tricks while doing the heist movies. It's fun, dumb fun, not really anything great about it. Really, the script's not even normally that good, but they're just fun, turn your brain off movies. And this movie is actually, the footage that was described is it's set to follow a whole new group of characters who mirror the originals, and while they're doing their own thing, Jesse Eisenberg's character comes back for them and recruits them for a new heist to steal diamonds to take down a tycoon. And that's really all we really have about this. I like the Now You See Me movies because they're just fun, dumb fun, and they actually said that this movie is doing so well in the production point that it's at the studio officially greenlit the 4th movie without knowing anything else. I mean, without even this one coming out and seeing if fans are interested with it. So let me know if you guys are excited for this and if you guys like the name Now You See Me, Now You Don't. But before we get on to our biggest announcements, which are obviously the John Wick announcements, we got to talk about the things that were surprisingly not announced. And starting off with that was the Michael movie, because they actually had a huge presentation on this last year at CinemaCon, and it's supposed to come out later this year. But if you guys don't know the drama behind this, there is of course drama with Michael Jackson's past and whether he did some things. But one of the things that they were highlighting in the movie was this big court case that the movie was supposed to apparently start with and end with, and be the main driving point of the movie. And they found out they can't actually use it after they filmed that. So now they have to go back and reshoot a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm guessing this means we're not going to get this movie this year either. And they probably didn't have a lot to show anybody and tell them, oh yeah, this movie is supposed to be big and give you guys a lot of money, but it's not going to be happening. And I bet they didn't want to tell the theater owners that. So that's probably why they didn't get any updates on that. We also didn't get any updates about Saw 11, which is surprising because just last week, Billy the Puppet made a public statement online saying that he saw the rumors that the franchise was canceled and saying that the game never ends and that he is coming back. But here we are, no, not even a mention of Saw 11. So that's also kind of surprising. And then not as surprising, but still kind of wild that they didn't bring it up. And that's Strangers Chapter 2, which was already filmed along with the 3rd movie when the first movie was filmed. But the first movie got horribly like shredded to pieces by fans, and they apparently did some reshoots on it, but I'm not surprised that they didn't bring this up, just because they probably didn't want to remind the theater owners that, look, we have all these great movies coming out, but we also made this too. So maybe that's just why they didn't bring that up. But that's all the movies that they kind of didn't announce that I was surprised about. So starting off the entire panel for Lionsgate and for our talking sakes of the John Wick stuff is the Ballerina stuff, which is, I'm actually super excited about Ballerina. It's following Ana de Armas, who's one of the ballerinas in the John Wick franchise, and she's actually apparently, based off of the footage we saw, is going up against John Wick, which we knew John Wick was going to be in the movie, but apparently that's her villain in this movie, and he was actually hired to kill her. And then there's this whole fight that's supposed to be going on throughout this whole movie, which is actually a really interesting idea for this, which makes me wonder, does she die at the end of this? Does she not? Do we get another, or does obviously John Wick win like he normally does? I don't really know. So it's kind of a cool reveal. They had a full extended fight sequence that apparently everybody said looks just like the all the other John Wick movies in that Anna de Armas blends in perfectly with the movies. She's super fluid with it. Apparently, it was one really long no-cut sequence in it that was awesome. They said the action's definitely living up to the John Wick franchise. But I mean, this movie is just coming out in a couple of weeks. I mean, or about a month now. I think it's June 6th that it comes out. So I mean, super excited about this. But I mean, not much new news other than the fact that we're finding out that John Wick looks to be like the main bad guy for this movie, which is kind of a unique take on this. But that's all the news we have about Ballerina, which is a spin-off movie of the John Wick franchise, which we have another one to talk about. Another spin-off movie that they're making right now that they already announced, what they gave us a little update on, is the Stick spin-off movie. If you don't know who Stick is one of the major antagonists in John Wick 4. He's a blind assassin that got the title of John Wick's title once John Wick left. He's a really cool character in the franchise. The way they make him fight in the movie while being blind is also really unique. We didn't really find out anything else about the movie itself. We just found out that Danny Yen, who is the character who plays the character of Stick, is returning to play the character, obviously. But he's also coming on to direct the film, and the film starts shooting later this year and is set to release next year. But other than that, we didn't really get anything else about this. I am excited for this movie, but I'm honestly a little bit more excited for Ballerina because I liked the world building that they did with the whole Ballerina organization that they showed in John Wick 3, I think. But I mean, it's still a really interesting movie sounding. I'm still excited for this, just not as much as Ballerina. But moving on from this, we have some actual announcements about future John Wick projects themselves that have me beyond hyped. And that first one is they announced John Wick 5, and my mind was blown. I mean, if you guys didn't watch John Wick 4, you might not know this, but it's been out long enough that I'm going to tell y'all. He's supposedly dead at the end of John Wick 4, but they're making John Wick 5. They've already apparently confirmed a story. It's like set in stone. This movie's coming, and I am so hyped. The John Wick movies are just a ton of fun, and I'm just so glad we're getting another one because, I mean, if you guys have heard Keanu Reeves in interviews lately addressing the fact is he said he's not that young anymore, and his knees can't hold up and his back can't hold up to all these stunts. And he said he probably wasn't going to do another one, but here we are saying they are. So I'm glad we're getting another one. We don't really know how many more we're going to get of this, especially since they almost played him off as dead in the last movie. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just glad we're getting another John Wick movie. I love these movies. They're just fun, bloody times at the theater that I just enjoy a lot. But with that being said, I am so happy we're getting another story about the Baba Yaga. But they actually announced another project, and we're going to learn about the origins of the Baba Yaga. Now, this is my most anticipated movie that they announced of this entire panel so far. This is supposed to be an animated movie that's a prequel to the John Wick movie, and it's supposed to show the impossible task that earned him the name Baba Yaga and got him out of the assassin's world. And we've heard hints and like little rumors and little speculation talks within the movies about what John Wick did or how crazy what he did was, but we've never got to see or really know what happened. And I've been dying to know since that first movie of what did he do to earn the name Baba Yaga? What did he do that was the impossible enough task to finish that got him out of the life of being an assassin? I've been wanting this, and now we're getting a full movie that's supposed to be an animated movie that's going to be coming out to tell us this story about John Wick's past. And I'm super excited. This sounds so cool. But with that being said, let me know if you guys are excited about any of these John Wick projects. Obviously, I'm most excited about this last one. But if you guys are excited about Ballerina, Stick, John Wick 5, or the animated Baba Yaga movie, with all that being said, let me know what you guys think about these John Wick projects. But guys, that was all of Lionsgate's panel. I mean, there was a lot of stuff there, a lot of little movies, but of course we had the Hunger Games and the John Wick announcements. They're big tentpole franchises to talk about, which all these movies mostly had me super excited. Some of the original movies, especially the comedy, had me super excited. But let me know what you guys thought about this panel, what you guys thought the most anticipated movie is going to be after this panel, and what you guys thought as a whole, and if you guys are excited for these John Wick projects especially. I know I am. But with that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the rest of this series about the 2025 CinemaCon panels. I know that Warner Brothers should be coming out later tonight. The panel's actually going on right now, so I got to get over there and follow that right now. But I'm going to put out that video later tonight. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think about all this, and don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on all this news. And I have the Sony one already done up on my channel right now, so don't forget to check that out and cover all the Spider-Man news and all sorts of stuff that was awesome last night. But with that being said, until next time, I'm Tyler. Take care.